guys, I'm back with another video. So it seems like we are, kind of being excited again. We reached the $30 mark today, and just a throwback, right? We're still waiting on Rowan Kitty Tweed. Of course, this is the last one that he posts. Who knows if he's going to work or not? But again, so the whole tone of this particular tweet is that he's willing to wait until Jimmy's gonna do something, right? So it's been close to 6 months already, right? No, 6 months. What time is it? Right now it is okay. 22. So since 5 months since this post was posted, yeah. So the maybe next month. Who knows? Who knows? But just to remind people, right? Even Rowan Kitty is waiting for the big one as well, and he's willing to wait whenever until quote unquote the owners come back, right? To the right time. Okay. Now, meantime though, there's a lot of institutional level ownership increasing day by day. We see a lot of filings, coming in, and I pretty much checked out, sorry, the institutional ownership earlier, which is around 40% now. So it's an all-time high for sure. That is a good place to be, right? And you've seen this graph slushing around. I'm sure you've seen it so many times already, but the last one here is being updated. So it's at an all-time high for sure. Apologize for my voice here. And also the noise, background noise too. Still in the same place, but it is what it is. Sorry about that. But anyway, so go back to the price action here. So this morning you could see that there is a spike over there to $30, and I really think, hold on, I hate this thing. That $30 mark is a very hard resistance, and it's been a resistance for quite some time. So if we want to do something amazing, we have to well above that, $30 mark. And of course, it's knocking at that door quite often. So if you were to look into, look into that level previously, wonder how many times does it reach that and then come back down, right? Pretty hard resistance for sure. Okay, now we wanted to flip into a support, right? We wanted to, whether we're going to be able to do that or not remain to be seen, but yeah, we're reaching that point now. Will market maker allow it to happen where it's going to trade above $30? Highly doubt it, I think, unless the earnings report come in very, very favorable to GameStop. Hopefully we're going to be able to make money this time instead of losing on the operational side. Historically, obviously, first quarter is the worst one for Jamie, unfortunately. So you might see the price, acting negatively in terms of, operational cost loss if there is one. But also too, just it might also be mitigated by the announcement of owning Bitcoin too. So yeah, in a lookout, and honestly, even if there's good news, they could still smack the price down. You've seen that so many times, okay? Like over here, I mean, look at this. Earnings was great, right? But because revenue coming down, they still make the excuse that somehow is not a good thing. But I think they misinterpret, GameStop. Look at how much they miss on earnings per share. And you have to wonder what metric are they using to evaluate earnings per share to the point where they are unable to come out with the consensus that GME is actually making money. Now, I know they probably just use the old model of not taking account the investment part of GME. Of course, we have our massive amount of cash on our balance sheets, and that cash generating, interest on top of it. Whether it's low or non-existent, it's still that, shareholder equity has been increasing over time. Um, and so there's no denying that at all. But for some reason, the earnings per share has been missed by the Wall Street type, right? I mean, to have a 30%, $30 a share on earnings per share, that's a good thing, you guys. Like, the expectation is like 8. So what is this? Now they're saying it's $8 a share. So we'll see. I think we're going to be able to beat the $8 per share. Not sure about the revenue though. So can you imagine if we were to beat the revenue this time too? So again, at some point we are going to be able to beat the revenue for sure. Right now, again, because they compare from last year to this year. So I imagine if we were to compare this year to next year, I'm sure next year is going to be a lot better, right? Who knows? But people talk about the recessions and all that stuff coming in. One important part to mention too is the bond market is doing something unprecedented, and I think I post this this gentleman here kind of breaking down what's happening with the yen carry trade, Japanese yen carry trade. And the market is not, pricing the way that they're pricing debt right now, especially on the level of governmental debts, are a lot higher in yield, okay? Because people are like, hey, I don't think this government could pay me back, and so nobody is willing to give the government the money to operate their whatever use, whatever governmental uses. The whole idea is that people are mistrusting the government at the moment, including the U.S. government, right? So the 20 years bond went up like crazy. The 30 years bond in Japan is also went up quite like crazy too. So that means, yes, there's some unwinding things happening. So either the U.S. has to print, all the governmental body has to print, or do some sort of quantitative easing. Jerome Powell has no choice but to either keep the rate as it is or lower the rate as quickly as possible, because the deflationary event is going to happen soon. If it's not, again, will he wait until June? Will he be able to wait until June? Perhaps he will be able to, but who knows? This is pretty bad, right? Depend on who you're asking. Now, like, none of this really affects GME, honestly, you guys. I'm telling you. That's why I'm saying, like, it's very encouraging to see that GME is actually going higher than, even bonds. Now, recently I have been looking into MSDRs too, so I am kind of wanting to adding position, to not MSDR directly, but more so their bond, right? And seeing that the bond market of the U.S. Treasury is coming very, in terms of the value of the bond going lower, the TLT, if you look at the TLT. So let's look at the TLT real quick. Okay, it seems like they're working downstairs now, so I'm gonna end this pretty soon here so that you don't have to hear all the drilling. So so this is what I'm talking about. The TLT typically when it go up, right? When there's uncertainty in the market, typically, again, it doesn't behave the way that it should, right? And so right now, everybody wants to lower the rate. It's the central bankers, right? They want to lower the rate. Even the Europeans and all that stuff, they're already lowering the rate. And Jerome Powell is even thinking about lowering the rate, June, July, or whatever. But again, so just be on the lookout for that, okay? But let me finish this point real quick before I end. I know they're trailing right now. So with this one right here, I'm thinking about even kind of not buying into this one, but buying into MSDR strike, right? The bond that they are giving 10% to buy Bitcoin with it. Now, yes, that's a risk, right? Because if you don't understand Bitcoin, right, you're not going to understand what the bond is going to do. But I feel like at this point in time, that is much safer than the US government or any other governmental bonds out there. Because again, they could still print money to buy this bond right here at this low price. And that printing money is going to, kind of devalue the bond as well. Okay. Although it's at a lower rate than the actual currency itself. And so that's why I'm thinking, okay, I think MSDR, Michael Saylor bond is a lot better in that sense. Again, just my opinion, right? Who knows? I might be wrong. Anyway, so I'm gonna end it here while I could still hear myself. So I don't want you guys to listen to the drilling and all that stuff. So, all right. So today, just in a lookout for the trading. I'm sure if we break $30 by the end of today, man, that's crazy, right? I mean, we're gonna go to the moon. Who knows? Yeah, might happen today. All right. Okay. Bye.